I'm photographer David duChemin, and this is Vision is Better, a sometimes weekly podcast about the craft and art of photography. Welcome here. Hey, welcome to episode 45 of Vision is Better. I'm your host, David duChemin. Today we're talking about trying it in black and white. I love color. If you look at my portfolios online, you see a lot of color work. I am a sucker for color, and most of us are. Many of us love color. And I think part of the reason that we love color is that for whatever evolutionary advantage it gave us, we are hardwired to respond emotionally to color. We see certain colors and it evokes certain moods and certain emotional responses in us. And I think as a result, many of us get our mood and emotion in our photographs from color. This is not a bad thing. However, I think because color is so seductive, there is a tendency for us to, at times, lean on it like the cheap parlor trick that it can be. And there's nothing wrong with color. Again, I love color. However, when there is so much color in a photograph, I think there's a tendency for us to not see, because we're so seduced by the color, a tendency for us not to see other things, a tendency for us not to see the strength or the weakness of our composition, a tendency for us not perhaps to see the strength or the weakness of a particular moment that we have chosen, and a chance in some ways not to, or to see the story that we're telling. And so one of the things that I have become to the point of being mocked for it is, one of the things I've become known for is saying, have you tried it in black and white? And I usually say it wearing a black turtleneck and smoking a pipe. Have you tried it in black and white? And the reason I say this is not to force you to make all your photographs in black and white, or even to intentionally all the time render them in black and white and print them and push you toward black and white bodies of work. That is not my point. My point is that when we look at a photograph in black and white, as you're scrolling through your work in Lightroom, as you're doing your developing, flip it over into black and white and just look at it. And the reason I suggest this is, one, it will teach you a lot about your photographs. It will teach you about your composition. It will teach you, again, about whether you choose stronger or weaker moments. And, could this have been stronger? Maybe yes, maybe no. It will also show you, stripped of all that color, it will show you where the emotional heartbeat of your photograph is. And I think that's where I'm getting to with this. Again, do I want you to make all your photographs black and white? I really don't. There's a lot of photographs that just simply would not work in color because they're about color. But I am, how do I say this? I'm a little bit of a freak when it comes to simplifying my frame and stripping out anything that is not part of the story. So if the color is not part of the story, I tend to take it out. And recently, and by recently I mean today, I was looking through some old work from Lalabella, and I'm going to put it up on the screen and just flip through it. And I thought, let's see what happens when I try this in black and white. Some of it, it's been a while since I looked at it at all. Some of it, it's been a while since I tried it in black and white. And I'm always encouraging, apart from the, did you try it in black and white? I'm also encouraging people to do several edits. Have you looked at your work lately? Have you gone back to something you did a year ago, 2 years ago, and asked yourself, is it the strongest? Is this frame the strongest frame? Do I have some outtakes that may be better? Do I need to revisit this in post-production and clean it up? Maybe make up for some of the weakness in my craft, or even give it a completely different feeling. Because again, when we do our post-production hot on the heels of a great shoot, I think what happens is we respond emotionally and we crank up the saturation and we push the clarity and we, maybe in my case, I often warm up my images. Maybe given some distance between ourselves and the moment we photograph, we will feel differently about it. And in fact, our post-production choices could be stronger. I'm not saying they will be, but they might be. And creativity is all about asking, what if? So I was going through this old black and white stuff. I was going through the old color stuff, but I was making it black and white. And I saw a number of strengths in the photographs that I had taken. I saw my compositions were actually much stronger when I looked at them in black and white, when I rendered them in black and white. Taking away a lot of the rock in these photographs in the background is, and in some cases the foreground, is quite pink, quite warm and beautiful reddish sandstone, and it's beautiful. However, it also has a certain amount of visual mass, and I found that when I rendered them in a high contrast filmic black and white, and in this case I used Silver Effects Pro from Nik software, which is now completely free. And I added a little bit of grain. Actually, the preset I used was a film noir preset, and I pulled back a lot of the grain that they were giving me. But this gives me a look very much like the film I used to shoot when I banged a roll off on my Pentax Spotmatic. It gives me a sort of a high contrast, brings me back to my early roots, and I really like the treatment here. But without showing you the color images, which I don't think is the point, these black and white ones have become, as I look at more and more of them, have become stronger. And in some cases, I've noticed where my compositions are weaker, where I've cut something off at the top of a frame where perhaps I hadn't noticed it before, because before it was just a big red or pink wall. Now it's a black and white wall. Now it's tones, now it's textures, and my eye now goes to one of the windows at the top of the frame, and I notice that it's cut off. So I learn things when I do this. This is my long roundabout way of saying, take some time to re-edit your work, go back, revisit it, pull a project up, and spend an hour just looking at your images and asking yourself, is this the strongest frame? Could I have chosen a better one? How do these work together in visual cohesion? And maybe part of the answer is to that is, could I try it in black and white? And then, of course, my encouragement, the whole point of this episode, is try it in black and white. See what you think. See if you can learn something from your photographs. See if there's something there that you didn't know about the color before. Again, you can go back to color. I'm not suggesting you keep it there, but try it in black and white and see if you learn something about your composition. See if you learn something about the way you use lines and the moments that you choose, and maybe, just maybe, fall in love with black and white again. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to leave comments in the comment section, and because those help me to do new episodes and pull out content that is, or rather put out content that is relevant and interesting. And as always, remember, gear is good, but vision's better. We'll see you next time.